master, dashing through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases. Turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the Navic blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instruction. In holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions, streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Look at that. Start of the stream, and I've got it all working. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Got sound. Hey, Demaro. Welcome in. Pepstio, good to see ya. Troy forgot his password. Has followed. Troy, welcome in. That's a pretty funny it's a pretty funny name, I have to say there, friend. Okay, so I got a poll up because let's just look at what we've done. I'm looking like I got a delay here, a little too much happening, I think. Let me just this one. Let's make sure I got stuff shut down in the background. Boy, my mouse sometimes is just too frisky. We'll shut that down so I'm not watching anybody else. It feels like something is stealing my speed on my computer. Not sure what it is. Oh, bum, 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 bum. Okay. Let me look here a minute. Let me just update this. That doesn't delete the poll. No, it doesn't. Always worried about that. Oh, that's not what I needed to go to. Anyway, I could have left that there. Hey, Les Amy. Hello, kind brother. Good to see you, and how have you been? You're awake at midnight for a change. I've been doing pretty good. Got some new upgrades and such, so it's been fun figuring out tech issues. Think I finally got them all under control. And you know what? I don't need to keep listening to myself. Let me turn this off. There we go. We off. You had a nap from 4:30 to 8:15, so you'll be up for a little while. Oh, okay. Looking sharp. Thank you. Okay, so this is what I was trying to do. Flyers. That's the one I want to add to. Bum, 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 bum. Add another file. You know, sometimes, like, everybody does their stuff their own way. And this is my way of doing it. Okay. So I've got the little ads there for things. I'm going to change some of the way that looks over here. I got to figure out which way I'm pointing now. So pointing forward is me pointing over there. Okay, that's good to know. So I got a podcast today at noon. Again, reminder, today is short day. I have a meeting at 9. So we got like an hour. That's it. But that's what I wanted to talk about. Holy Aces is going to have an air show on the TCD Discord on Saturday night. Saturday nights, all right. Well, I guess that's Sunday morning for you, last Amy. So that'd be Sunday morning for you. Maybe bright and early. I don't know if that interferes with church time or not. But it would be over there. Yes, the setup has changed. So let me just pan out. Let me bum. We'll go to cam and I can show you a little more. Like sometimes my mouse is being wonky here, like it fine tuning it. Okay, the aquarium right there, which that table is like 30 inches, used to be over there on the other side of this aquarium. Now this aquarium is slid 30 inches, 32 inches to the wall, and everything slid over. So I moved one aquarium from one end of the room to the other. And I have a new monitor over here. I have a new microphone over here. So I have now a hub so that everything is running through a hub. I've got some new software running the microphone, so hopefully it sounds good. It sounded pretty good to me. And And then I've got a new standing desk. You can see this right here. This is a brown desk. I used to have a white desk in here. That white desk that was in the corner is gone. And I have a new desk over here. So the base of the desk in the corner now has the top. Oh, it was on here. I put a new top on here. And I have a new board in front of the fish back there. It's just open underneath, so I just cover that up. So I got a lot of changes, little small tweaks. Oh, and I've got a new stand for all of my water bottles there. A new stand on top so that I have all my water bottles stacked up over there. Yeah, always having fun tinkering around. Absolutely. Jen of the North. Looks and sounds good. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for coming in here. Glad to have you here. You're keeping up, kind of. You've been busy. Well, these have been like slow little ones, and then over the weekend there was a culmination of a bunch of stuff, and then working through everything is wired up differently and figuring that out, and camera angle now, so I'm sitting this way instead of sitting this way, but I still have a cam over here, and then I move the cam over when we're doing workouts. No workout stream today, by the way. Well, at least I don't think there is. Jen, hey, how'd you find me? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. I've just got a little poll running right now because Wisdom Wednesday. Let me show you that. And I'll zoom in a little more. Bum, 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 bum. That's probably too much. Wisdom Wednesday. We're usually been reading in Psalms, Proverbs, and I've asked people to give me input on Psalms and Proverbs, and I'm wondering if we want to change that up a little bit. If we want to go away from reading Psalms and Proverbs for a while, and we might read Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, or the Book of Job. So it's wisdom literature still, but if we don't want to do that, we can just stick with Psalms and Proverbs for a while, but at some point, I'm going to want to do that. So, hey, Hobo Bob. Tip of the cap, friend. Tip of the cap to you. Welcome in. Found you long ago browsing the Christian tag. Oh, well, glad to have you here. Thank you. Workout stream is such an awesome idea. Well, it's more one of those things where the workout that I'm over with Reach Conference, and we're doing a 90-day challenge, and it's at 10 o'clock. So it's like when I was still streaming, so it just makes sense to stream it rather than end. And some days it's just meh, whoop-de-doo, I'm lifting weights, I'm bored out of my mind, I'm just waiting for a rest in between. That's how I feel about lifting weights. It's as boring as all get out. And other days it's very silly, crazy, movements and stuff that I can barely keep up and out of breath. So it's been fun regardless to be able to do that with other people. And so, yeah, glad to just share it and encourage people. So you like Ecclesiastes and Job. BRB, better put Pickle to bed. She is dog, but also baby. Yes. Well, and animals need to stay on schedule for the most part. My mom's dog gets very upset when she doesn't get to go to bed at 6 p.m. It's bedtime. Why aren't you putting me to bed? I need to go to bed now. Let's go to bed now. She doesn't actually care if my mom goes, but she wants to go to bed at 6 p.m. Just been a long-standing thing that since she was a puppy. Oh, you like this cap? Hey, this one is called the Dad. This one is called the Dad. So Boston Scully, which are some of the hats I have, they name each hat. So bed at 6 p.m. would be nice. That's a bit early for me. That's a bit early. I'm not looking to go to bed at 6 p.m. I regularly go to bed at 10 p.m. every night, and it's pretty scheduled now. We used to be midnight for years and years. My wife and I always went to bed at midnight, and now it's 10 p.m. Wow, the poll has ended, and Job is the winner with 3 votes. Okay, I'm good with Job. Let's jump into Job then. I was not thinking Job would be the winner, but I am happy with Job. Okay. That means we're in Job. Thank you, everybody, for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate the input. So let's go find Job. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Come on. Clickety, clickety, click. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, I need to switch to dark mode. Man, my mouse is being funky today. Oh, that's not the one I want. You started Job the other day. Hey, very cool. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. Hitting dark mode so that it shows up better on screen. It never picks up my light mode in the screen there. Now let's make the font bigger for everybody. Okay, and now let's get over to Job. By the way, I have a bunch of quotes on shirts from Job. So let's see, which one is this one? This is 27 verse 5. I will never admit you are in the right till I die. I will not deny my integrity. So, if you want some silly shirts that are Job, by the way, we're going to look his name up, means hated. Means hated. Oh, you know what? I don't think my merch command works. Yeah, it goes to there. Did I make a swag command? Trying to remember. No. I know I've added on a timer. It'll show up. Bob, I did a Bible study with your cousin. You're doing a Bible study next up in Job. This will be great for you. Awesome. Well, it looks like good timing then. Be back later, going to kids' school, morning chapel. Oh, how fun, how fun, how fun. Okay, so Job 1. And let's just start off by going looking up Job's name. And let's change what it says we're doing because we're doing Job. So let's change that. I think it's funny sometimes when people think it's Job instead of Job. I mean, I understand why, but it's still funny. Like, we should put an E at the end, Job. You know, I mean, it's English after all, and we translated it from Hebrew. We can do what we want. I mean, we do, really. We take languages where they have a vowel at the end of their name of their country, Italiano, and we just get rid of the O. Like, we don't need that. España, Spain. Yeah, we just truncate, abbreviate. So we could do that. We could do the opposite. Okay, not what I want. Scrolly, scrolly, scrolly. There was a man in the land of Oz whose name was Job. Okay, so even look at the way it is spelled here. Eob. Eob.
Strong's H 347.
Oh,
Eob.
let me see what I got here. I'm not hearing it. You guys should be all right, I believe. Yeah, it does that to me. Okay, let me try that again. That way I can just check when things are working.
Strong's H
Ooh, that's very loud.
347. Eov. Eov.
Okay, bum, bum, bum. Coming through on this end. Okay, okay. Thanks. Okay, so hated. Job means hated. Do you think it makes any difference that the guy's name means hated? A guy named Hated. Why is he called Hated? Because look at how his life turns out. Look at how his life turns out as we go through the story. These are the things that someone might say, like we have in the book of Ruth, where Naomi, which means pleasant, says, no longer call me pleasant, call me bitter, because I went away full and I have come back empty, because the Lord has taken everything from me. So I am bitter, call me bitter. Okay, names mean something here. So the man is called Hated. Why? Because his friends straight up look like they hate him. I mean, they show up as friends, but then they turn on him. And then some young whippersnapper upstart finally gets to talk at the end of the cyclical poetry of round robin back and forth banter between friends who are treating him like he did something wrong. And the young guy hates him as well. And it looks like, because of the circumstances, that he is hated by God and that the world hates him. I'll save the opinion of his wife until we get there, because I don't think she hates him. I think there's a little bit different there. I have a different take than most people on his wife. So, as always, questions are welcome. Whatever your questions are, your thoughts, your opinions, the things that you know, the things you understand, share them as well. So they all just piling on him. Yeah, they start out with their mouths shut, comforting him, and then they start saying, Job, you need to repent, and you need to do what's right. And we're already told that Job was not doing anything wrong. Okay. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Hated. Ooh, that even has a different ring to it. His name was Hated. Like, ooh, we hate this guy. Okay, let's look at Uz a minute. Let's look at Uz. I always want to say the land of Oz. That's what makes it so hard for you? Oh, interesting. Because, see, I would say that this is Oots. True to life. True to life. Well, hang with me, MC Wolfcat.
Oops.
Wooded. In the land of Wooded, he lives in the woods. There's a man in the land of the woods whose name is Hated. And this man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. 7, seven, the number of totality and completeness sons. He has a full quiver of sons, and 3 daughters were born to him. It's interesting that 3 daughters are mentioned. Why does he need to have daughters mentioned? Because he's going to have 10. 10 reminds us of the commandments. So he has 7 sons who are completed. He has 3 daughters, so he gets to 10, which he is, well, they're depends on when you think Job is written. Some have argued that it's the oldest book in the Bible. Well, it's set in the oldest time frame of the Bible, but it doesn't mean it's written there. There is some internal evidence that makes it more likely to be written in and around the exile than to have been written, as ancient literature. But that does not mean. It could have other reasons why. It could have been translated. It could have been oral. It could have been written down later. It could have been updated with modern language along the way. So there's lots of things. Text is coming alive. I hope so. I see. If it doesn't come to life, I'm doing something wrong, and because it really should come to life. So he has 7 sons, totality, 10 total kids, which should think of the 10 commandments. So it's saying he's upright. It's saying that he is blameless. And he has the 10 representing 10 commandments of children. His possessions included, now look we're going to get the duplication of the 7 and the 3. 7 times 1,000 makes a large number. 7,000 sheep. 3,000 camels, 5 Torah, 500 yoke of oxen, that would actually be 1,000, 500 female donkeys. In addition, he had a very great household. Okay, so what do we have here? Service of household servants, indicating that a very large body of servants, meaning a very large household. Okay. Thus, he was the greatest of all people in the East. The expression is literally sons of the East. The use of the genitive after sons is in the construct may emphasize their nature, like sons of Belial. It would refer to them as Easterner, like sons of the South in contemporary American English, dwellers in the East. Okay. The East is where, after Genesis, people begin heading east because there's a garden that is east of Eden. And then we have Cain wandering and going to the east and settling and making. So we have eastward movement of away from Eden. Later, we have from the east being the place where destruction comes, or from the north. Destruction comes from the east and it comes from the north. Here we have the men of the east over there. Job is the greatest of those who are over there. Now his sons used to go and hold a feast in the house of each one in turn, and they would send an invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When the days of feasting were finished, Job would send for them and sanctify them. He would get up early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them. So what we have going on is this might be the New Moon Festival of a regular monthly gathering that people would have done where you would celebrate a new moon. It could be their time for celebration could be in spring or in fall. It doesn't matter what the schedule of this is. The 7 brothers take turns doing this, and the 3 sisters are always invited. So his kids are regularly together. And I don't know about you, but this is a pretty amazing thing. Having every single one of your children, or every single one, just think of your family, of your parents, brothers, and sisters, gathering together on a regular basis, all the family getting together. I know some places it's not that uncommon, but in my family, that don't happen. That does not happen. I go years between seeing my siblings. And my aunts, uncles, etc. as well. Not necessarily because of all hostility, just because of we're not in each other's lives. We live far away, those kinds of things. Okay. But when they finish their feasting, and usually we have celebrations are week long when we get to the festivals that are prescribed in Leviticus and in the Torah of things to do, that you have a week-long festival celebration. So perhaps these are bigger festivals, not just a day, because it says days of feasting have finished. So Job is going to sanctify his children. He's going to, let's see what it says, purify them. He's going to send for them when the partying is done. Come here, let's purify you. Let's make you right again. In case anything happened. Yes. He would get up early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them. So 10 burnt offerings. For Job thought, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's customary practice. So on a regular basis, Job is offering sacrifices every time his children get together for a party, and he says, maybe something happened, and I'm just going to be cautious about this and always offer offerings to God to bless them and purify them. MC Wolfcat, yeah, reminds me of the family gatherings you had, thanks to Grandma. You would meet because we were far away from each other since she passed away. Haven't done it again yet. Yeah, That's very true in families. My wife's grandmother was the head of the family, and they got together regularly, and it started to dwindle as she aged. And as soon as it switched from her house to someone else hosting it, then the more distant cousins and people with married kids that were going to other parts of other families would choose not to show up on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then when she died, it's now down to brothers and sisters of each other mostly, and not the whole extended family. So yeah, totally get that. Last, Amy, like going to the temple before there was a temple, and Job is taking the role of priest. Yes, last, Amy, exactly. He is taking the role of priest on behalf of his kids and offering sacrifices. Either you can think of it before the temple, or worshipers of God without and who never came under the temple. Yeah, you too, last, Amy, your family turned against each other when she went to be with the Lord. Oh, I'm sorry they turned against each other. Often it's just neglect, but you're right. I've seen this happen when there's an inheritance and the kids feud over who gets to have what. It can turn ugly. Yeah, matriarch of the family. Often the case. Okay. So this is the setup. This is our introduction to Job, the man who is hated. So seeing that that's the case that's going on, let's figure out what else is going on. Now, the day came when the sons of God came to be present before the Lord, and the accuser also arrived among them. I do not like this translation of Satan. Satan or Satan. Let's go look it up. So we're in Job 6. I'm sorry, we're in verse 6. I want to show you this because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I mean, everything that I say, you need to take and evaluate for yourself. Look it up, test it against other people. Okay, so right here, this is what the text has. It has Satan. Ha would be what would be equivalent in English of the. Now, it does work with streamer names like The Flat Cap Dapper Pastor. It does work that way. But with a proper name, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way with The Last Amy. Well, I guess it almost does there. But the Amy wouldn't work. The Amy doesn't work. Like, we don't use that in English. Hebrew doesn't either. So the fact that it is the accuser, to me, means it is not a specific one. It is the one who is in the role of it. It doesn't mean we should think Satan. That's what everyone has done because we've translated it in English. We've violated English rules, and we've translated it that way. And it's so traditional that way that even the translation that we're working with will put the footnote, but won't bring themselves to change it. So, Satan.
Strong's H7854. Satan.
Okay, adversary.
Satan.
Accuser, like one, the opponent. So it is the one who is on the other side. So that's what we have here. The sons of God. Let's look at what this says. The sons of God in the Old Testament generally refers to angels. I prefer not to say angels, but say spiritual beings. Angels is a role, and I don't like to conflate the two. They're not actually sons of Elohim. Well, okay, they're not biological, okay? A son of someone is someone who follows the will of and follows after the pattern of that person. So we use the example of Sons of Liberty would be those people that are advocates for liberty. They are choosing to pursue liberty. They are sons of liberty. Liberty is not an actual person. But it's a thing. So a son of God would be that they are personified by, and they're referred to that way, and they're the angelic being, or the angelic. They're the heavenly host. Sons of Elohim, the idiom in poetic way of describing the nature and relationship of God. The phrase indicates supernatural nature and their submission to God as their sovereign Lord. I like that description. It may be classified as a genitive that expresses how individuals belong to a certain class or type, the supernatural. The pagan literature, especially the Ugaritic, the sons of God refers to the lesser gods or deities of the pantheon. The council of Yahweh, the sons of God. I like that. The council of the, or God and the gods of the assembly. So that's a way of thinking of it. So it is the other spiritual beings in the spiritual realm in the heavenly places. That's who we have. So all of the spiritual beings are gathered together, or at least those who have a position on the board, if you will, in the court. They are called together, and the one whose role it is to be the accuser is also there. Okay, let me get caught up on chat. Last Amy, it was pretty awful. You visited your uncle, though he was upset, everyone, and shared the gospel with him. And he's got bone marrow cancer. They all hate him, but you don't have room for an unforgiving heart. Yeah, I don't have room for an unforgiving heart either. I find it very difficult to hold anything against anybody. So even if the relationship can't be healed, I don't hold against people. Yeah, I remember you talking about going to visit him. Yeah, you're sorry you lost your grandma and gatherings too. You miss your childhood gatherings, but you're grateful you still have your mom, sister, auntie, cousins in life. Yeah. Well, my family doesn't always live near each other. We are all, like, on one side of the family, we've always been scattered. There is nobody that lives by each other. Very, like, two people in the same hour drive from each other is close. That's how close our family is. We just move. We keep moving. The other side, a lot of it stayed together, but then we weren't. And so then it became harder and harder to ever get together with family. And then you don't really know family. So the only reason you'd get together is because there's a family get together. And right now that just seems to be funerals. It's the only time I've seen a bunch of my family in the last 5 years. Yeah, very scattered. Yeah, it just makes that difficult. Now, I hope going forward with internet and stuff like that, that my children, grandchildren, and that piece of family does not have that happen to them. And we shouldn't. Okay. So we've got a gathering in the heavenly realm, and the accuser is also among them. The Lord said to the accuser, "Where have you come from?" And the accuser answered the Lord. Let me see what this says for the Lord. Through the book of Job, exchanges between speaker are stated as blank, answered, and said. However, when the Lord speaks, the formula is usually just he said. The rhetorical function in Job is likely to show that God's initiates and others respond to him. The text only describes the Lord as answering when he responds. That God responds to Job shows his merit. Ooh, that's an interesting take. I hadn't see that. So it looks like they are putting the Lord in here to clarify. Answered the Lord and said. The words "and said" here in verse 9 are not included to translate for stylistic reasons. Okay, they don't like the repetition. Job answered and said. Well, if Job answered, he didn't need to say. I mean, it's part of the verb. And Hebrew likes this. Fleeing things flee, swarming things swarm, answering things answer. So it makes sense in the Hebrew. MC, that's why your grandma was adamant about having gatherings, else I would never have met your cousins. Yeah, silly English. I know. That's okay. So we've got the accuser answered the Lord from roving about on the earth and walking back and forth across it. Okay, good insight here. Good insight here, even though I'm making the point this isn't Satan, this is the accuser, but this is going to be all of the spiritual beings, including good and bad. They can only be in one place at one time. They need to rove about. They need to walk back and forth across it. That's how they are going to go about. Now, I don't mean literally walk, and I don't think he does either. He's speaking metaphorically here. There is no sound of condemnation in them. What they signify is the swiftness and thoroughness of his investigation of humans. The good angels are said to go to and fro on the earth on behalf of the suffering righteous. Okay, so we're going into other stuff that's not in the text. Okay. So the Lord said to him, have you considered my servant hated? Ooh, I need to see the word order here. I wonder if it says my hated servant in the word order. Okay, verse 8. Verse 8. Move among the earth, since they cannot be everywhere at once. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's part of the idea. Like, I have to go to and fro. They're spiritual beings, so they have limitations. They are not, whereas God is described of being able to be present in all places at all times. There's several passages. Jeremiah has some, Psalms has some, where it describes God as, I remember, I'm more familiar with the Psalms where it's, if I go here, you are there. If I go here, you are there. If I wake in the morning, you are there. If I go to bed at night, you are there. Like, wherever I go, I cannot get out of your sight. And then Jeremiah is being confronted with that too, of where can humans go where they cannot be, where I am not at. So it's that idea there. Okay. The Lord said unto the accuser, hast thou considered my servant Job? Okay, let me see if word order is right here. Ebed Job. So back to the top. Bum, 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 bum. Trying to find it. Oh, it's so hard to go back and forth between these. Okay. Al Ebed Yob Ki. Al Ebed Yob Ki. Okay. That's why. Ebed Eob. Okay. Okay, yeah, my servant Job. Yeah, because it's mine on the end of this. My servant Job. Okay, so word order it is, or my servant Job. I just wondered if it was my hated servant. It's not. But it was an interesting thought. Okay. There is no one like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil. So, Job is being singled out here. Why? Because the accuser's role is to go and investigate and see what people are doing wrong. That's what the accuser's role is. Now, we're getting insight into something that Job and his friends never do. We're getting a glimpse at this. So we get to see what's going on here, but we also don't get a full grasp of understanding. So we get to witness it, but there doesn't mean there's an explanation of why. I think that's really important as we go forward. The explanation of why is going to be less than satisfactory because, frankly, the question is not answered. The question of why is not answered. Okay? So we've got Like, why does God bring up Job? Why? Because the accuser probably is always saying bad things about everybody. He never has anything good to say about anybody. So how about this guy? What bad could you possibly say about him? Have you considered him? There's nothing bad you can say. Let me show you. The accuser answered the Lord, "Is it for nothing that hated fears God? Have you not made a hedge around him and his household and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the works of his hand, and his livestock have increased in the land." Okay, what do we have here in the word blessed? The verb bless is used in one of its very common meanings. The verb means to enrich, often with a sense of enabling or empowering things for growth and fruitfulness. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So God blessed creation and told them to be fruitful and multiply. So it is an enriching. It is, just growth and fruitfulness. So you've allowed him to grow and be fruitful. The 10 kids are evidence of it. The thousands of animals are evidence of it. Job's gonna fear you, and because you put a hedge around him and you blessed him. Okay, let me see what it says with fear here. Let me just back up on the fear. I don't think we fully understand fear. Okay, the Hebrew form has the interrogative on the adverb gratis, a derivative either of the verb to be gracious or show favor, or its relative noun, grace, favor. The adverb has the sense of free, gratis, gratuitously, for nothing, for no reason. The idea is that the accuser does not agree that Job is pious, but that Job is loyal to God because of what he receives from God. He will test the sincerity of Job. Okay, so yeah, the only reason that just think about this with kids. Okay? If you're bribing your children with, and I'm not saying you as a parent, I'm just saying watch what people do. If you're bribing your kid with candy and screen time to get them to behave, or you are threatening punishment when that they are in fear of you, you've got the common vernacular of they're either being blessed by you, and that's the only reason that they love you and are obedient to you, or they completely fear your wrath, and so that's the only reason they don't do things against you. Which is not a situation that he's saying is here. Like, yeah, you're blessing him. Of course he's gonna. But extend your hand and strike everything he has, and he will no doubt curse you to your face. See the comments on Job 1. Here, too, the idea of renounce may fit well enough, but the idea of actually cursing God may not be out of the picture if everything Job has is removed. Oh, 1.5. I missed a footnote there on cursing then. Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed. Okay, what do we have here? Barach means to bless. Here in the case where the writer or the scribe substituted the word curse with the word bless to avoid having the expression, to avoid expressing curse God actually being read. Oh, interesting. For similar euphemisms, the opposite of bless would be curse, which normally would convey disowning or removing blessing. Yes, I really like the removing a blessing idea. So some commentators try to offer a definition of curse from the root in the text, and nothing that cursed is too strong. Coming to something like renounce, the idea of blaspheming is probably not meant. Rather, in their festivals, they may have said things that renounce God or their interest in him. Job feared this momentary turning away from God in their festivals might perhaps as they thought their good life was more important than their religion. I wouldn't say their religion, I would say their allegiance. Okay, so interesting. I did not know that. That the writer says they may have sinned and blessed God's in their hearts, but saying bless God in their hearts of like, oh, bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. Now, if you're not from the South, bless your heart. That's not what it means. It is meant to mean you. Well, there's a lot of ways it can be taken, actually, but you're not too smart. Yes, it is a day of dancing. I was getting ready. Yeah, definitely. Hey, subdue. Yeah, they may have sinned and bless your heart, God, in your heart. Yeah, so they are taking it to mean curse. That's why the translation says curse. But they didn't want to actually put in the text so that I would read, the children may have cursed God. They didn't want those two words together in the Hebrew, so they take and make the opposite of it to say that. Oh, yes, the bless your heart. Oh, it means the opposite. Yes. Yeah, it's all about tone. It's all about tone, MC Wolfcat, and the relationship. So if I were to say something, for instance, like my grandchildren are playing and I'm like, oh, bless their heart, I might actually mean that I really want a blessing upon them. However, if they just came up and they're telling me a story about how, frogs turn into princesses and all this kind of malarkey, baloney, whatever, I'm like, oh, bless your heart. You're dumb enough to believe that. You're dumb enough to believe that. So I don't really mean that. I mean, you're not too bright. And there's other ways to use it too. It's one of those phrases that can mean a lot of different things. Like swear words can mean a lot of different things. In different cultures with different people, the word can mean something different. So I don't use the N-word because it never can have a connotation really of anything of good coming out of my mouth. However, I have friends who will use it towards one another who are African American, and they'll use that word towards one another, and it is used an endearment towards one another. I use it; it can't be used that way. So it's like words have that kind of layer to them, and we need to spend time looking at those words and exploring them. Yeah, it's a thing that confuses you at times. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. I also think in the New Testament, when Paul is saying some of these things, he's being sarcastic, and we take them literally because we don't understand the context. And so the thing he's telling us to not do, we actually end up doing. So, okay. Where were we at? Let's see if we can finish chapter 1. Okay. He is going to curse you to your face if you just take away the hedge of protection. So the Lord said to the accuser, all right then, everything he has is in your power. Only do not extend your hand against the man himself. So, fine, I'll move the hedge. You can take an action against the stuff he has. You can't touch him. So the accuser went out from the presence of the Lord. Okay, so this is interesting. He is in the presence of the Lord. So this would mean that there's a perception of there's a gathering in the heavenly realm. He's been going about on the earth. He's now returning to the earth where he can go and take action against Job. Now the day came when Job's sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their older brother's house. Okay, so we know that they go from house to house to house. It's now older brother's turn. The accuser waits for this day. Why? Why does he wait for this day? I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. Why does the accuser wait for this specific day? I think this is a fantastic thing to think about. Why this day of all days? What is the thing that Job is concerned might be happening at these parties? Perhaps my children will curse God. In their parties, maybe they will disown God, they will stray from God, they will lose their allegiance to God. And they're at their older brother's house when they're drinking wine. If these events happen before the partying is over, Job does not get to make sacrifices and call them together and purify them. They would be in the state of being and having cursed God. So, that's, I think, why it happens. Why the older brother? I just think he's the head of all of it. He would end up being the Behor to take care of everyone else. And the messenger came to Hadad, saying, the oxen were plowing, and the donkeys were grazing beside them, and the Sabeans swooped down and carried them all away, and they killed the servants with the sword, and I alone escaped to tell you. You were thinking something else completely, even though the answer was already given. Well, that's okay. That's okay. The other thing is, we get the setup here of they're at their older brother's house, and then we shift topics here. So we get the, hey, you can touch everything he has. Older brothers gathered together. It's on that day of feasting and celebration. Now the oxen are plowing and the donkeys are grazing. Wait a minute. Okay. So some of your goods are gone, Job. Your kids are still over partying over here, and you've lost your oxen and your donkeys. Okay, well, you might offer an oxen, but not generally. You're going to offer more likely a calf. Sometimes you might offer a bull. So won't be able to offer any bulls, but these were, oxen for plowing, so maybe not a deal. And you don't offer donkeys as a sacrifice. So, okay, Job still might be able to offer sacrifices. I alone. The pleonasm in the verse emphasizes the emotional excitement of the messenger. Okay. And these are meant to be heard in rapid succession. While this one was still speaking, the guy who's telling the message was still speaking, another messenger arrived and said, the fire of the gods has fallen from heaven. Sorry, the fire of God, and has burned up sheep and servants. It has consumed them, and I alone escaped to tell you. Okay, the sheep are gone. You can't offer sacrifices now. The sheep are gone. So let's not, say the oxen are gone, the donkeys are gone, the sheep are gone. While this one was still speaking, another messenger arrived and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands and made a raid on the camels and carried them away, and they killed the servants with the sword, and I alone escaped to tell you. So now his camels they're gone. While this one was still speaking, another messenger arrived and said, your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their older brother's house. Okay, so we get introduced to the older brother having the party there, and then we remove all of the things that Job could use to make a sacrifice and purify them, and now we'll get the sad news of what happens to them. And suddenly a great wind swept across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they died. And I escaped to tell you. Okay, here's an interesting thing here. The fire from the heavens is pointed at us from God. Where would the wind be coming from? Let's go back to the footnote on God there a minute. Fire from God. Fire of God would refer to lightning. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have assumed that. The LXX simply has fire. The first blow comes from enemies, the second from heaven, which might have confused Job more as the cause of his trouble. the use of divine epithet could also be an indication of the superlative degree. Okay. Well, that's what I was thinking here too, is if it's coming from, and the servant is thinking it is from God. So if it's fire, lightning, or if it's fire and brimstone coming, something coming and falling from heaven and destroying them, the idea would be it would come from God. Where would the wind come from? The wind would come from God. How does the accuser carry these things out? And also, if this is true, that the accuser has the ability to control and manipulate weather, isn't that a fascinating thought? I don't know if it's necessary to think that, but the accuser says he's going to do it, so the hedge of protection might have been removed, and so the hedge of protection removing around would just allow the natural problems of the earth to take place, the fallen nature of things. So we don't have to go further in any direction, if you will. Okay, then Job got up, tore his robe, he shaved his head, and then he threw himself down with his face to the ground. He said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will return there. The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. May the name of the Lord be blessed." In all this, Job did not sin, nor did he charge God with moral impropriety. Yeah, that's interesting thought. Yeah, isn't it an interesting thought? I don't know that we can base anything on it. The last clause is difficult to translate. It simply reads, "And he did not give unseemliness to God." The word tifla means unsavoriness or unseemliness. This translation is always obsessed with in a moral sense. Like, no, don't have to be in a moral sense. The sense is that Job did not charge God with any moral impropriety. It's just wrong. Didn't accuse God of wrongdoing. Doesn't have to be moral. It can still. It could. Okay. God did nothing worthless or tasteless. The ancient version saw the word connection with foolishness, stupidity. To fall, to be, to taste, is possibly the folly would capture some of what is meant here. Yeah, I like that. Did not charge God with folly. I like that. Okay. Okay, what I'm wondering here. So, does the Hebrew text actually have, "May the name of the Lord be blessed," is the same phrasing as, who knows, maybe my children have blessed God, meaning cursed God, and now here it's taking that phrase in the positive rather than the negative, that may the name of the Lord be blessed. So I'm blessing the name of the Lord. The accuser thinks that Job is going to do the opposite. He thinks he's going to curse God. Job blesses God. Now, this is the view of Job. This is a good view. It does not negate the sorrow. Okay, here's what I think. Here's how we misuse this. Okay. Job said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will return there. The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. May the name of the Lord be praised," or be blessed. Okay. So when something bad happens to someone, I don't get the right to tell them, "Naked you came from your mother's womb, and naked you will return. The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." You have to be happy about this. Job isn't happy about this. Okay? Job is not happy about this. He just has a perspective to say, I don't know why this happened. I don't understand why this happened. Job gets up and tears his robe. Tearing his robe is showing outwardly that his heart has been ripped in two. The custom of tearing a robe in time of mourning to indicate the heart was torn. The garment here is the outer garment frequently worn over the basic tunic. So he rends his garment to show his heart is rendered in two. He shaves his head because he worships. Why is he shaving his head? Because he is signifying shame. He is accepting the shame of what has happened. He is owning the shame of things. He is shaving his head, which is a shameful thing. Now don't take that into modern conditions. This was culturally a practice, and that it would have been shameful for him to have a shaved head, to be in that condition. He also is going to put on sackcloth and ashes in a little bit. So he's tearing his clothes. He's expressing outwardly what's going on. He's not denying the reality of the circumstance. He is just choosing to thank God for the time that he was able to have with all of his kids. He is thanking God for the blessings that he had. They're gone. The Lord gave me. I got to enjoy them. They are now gone. I'm still going to praise God. Job has a strong belief and trust in God and a stubborn personality. He does. He does. He also has a strong will against the attacks of his friends. He has that too. Okay. We need to end there. I have a meeting. We have an ad break coming in. So we made it through Job 1. We made it through Job 1 today, everybody. Okay, we got ad break coming in. I'll give you the fish, and I will find someone. You know what? I'm going to give you the blessing first. Let me give you the blessing first, and then I'll go to fish. I'll find someone to raid, and we'll just raid out. So, may God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for hanging out with me, for suggesting Job. I think we're going to have some fun. Blessings, everybody. Have a blessed day. I will be back on the Church Digital at noon with a podcast, so hopefully could see some of you there. You're currently in Job 7. Chapter 1 was too hard for me, but from 2 is where you start getting confused. Okay. The least depressing reading of Job ever. I do not find Job depressing. I find that if you are in a circumstance where your world is falling apart, that's when you read Job. If your world and everything around it is collapsing, go read Job. That's when you will find the comfort hidden inside of it, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, let's find somebody to raid.
Flat cap pastor rocks his tweed, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may.
All right, looks like you guys are all back. Let me give you credits. Thank you for the biddies. Did you see I've got other redeems on there? Are they working for biddies? Or is it not working?
For Flat
I got blurb on there. Is it not showing? I meant to ask you earlier.
Reading from the book, the word so alive.
There we go. There we go.
In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock.